Down here at Rosia Bay, we've seen busy scenes over the last 2 weeks with teams from the Department of the Environment, the port, contractors, volunteers from the Nautilus Project and others working to clean up that spill that happened just under 2 weeks ago. So we know between 1,000 and 2,000 litres of heavy fuel oil spilled from the gas Venus tanker during a bunkering operation. The captain of the ship remains on the rock. He's been arrested and released on bail. GBC understands his travel documents. He surrendered his travel documents. And the ship itself was released on receipt of a cash bond of £1.5 million. So the ship is gone, but the effects have of course lingered. The Nautilus Project had warned that it could take up to 10 years for the effects to last, basically. And so, but we've seen that the response is now being de-escalated. So just how much progress has been made? I'm joined here by the captain of the port, Ghio, and by the CEO of the Department of the Environment, Dr. Liesl Mesilio. So how much progress has been made to get to the point of de-escalation?
A massive amount of progress. We've been here, as you said, for 2 weeks, pulling 13, 14-hour days. We've had over 30 people on site. We've removed well over 90 to 95% of the initial oil that was deposited here. So in terms of that 10-year lasting effect, I'm very happy that we've mitigated that and brought that right down.
So in terms of that lasting effect, what's the likelihood of those species that are involved, for example, limpets, sort of bouncing back? How many of these will have survived the initial incident, and how soon will it take this area to regenerate?
Well, we're still quantifying the effects. It will bounce back, it will recover. I think if you could cast your mind back, if people could cast their minds back to 2 weeks ago, what happened 2 weeks ago, what the scenes were like and what the scenes are like today. We've been monitoring this site daily. Fortunately, there's a lot of species which have been unaffected, a lot of limpets that have been unaffected. So now we've got to the point where the massive reduction in oil, there's been a lot of disturbance on the site, both from the oil spill and the massive manpower that we've had cleaning up, because we've had to do that, which means that now we've got to the point where we need to take a step back for a few weeks, look at that sort of ecological recovery. Let's see how nature now continues the final residue of the cleanup, which it will do obviously, and monitor the site carefully.
And you've cordoned off some areas from the public in order to sort of preserve these from disturbance, I suppose. Can you tell us a little bit about what is being done in these areas and why people should keep away?
Yes, so as you can see behind us, we've fenced off the area. Quite rightly, we need to reduce that disturbance. We need to let nature settle. We need to let the marine life and the invertebrates all settle. I know it's a popular area, so I ask the public to please bear with us. We will continue monitoring daily. There is still small amounts of residue on some of the rocks, so there is still a little bit of risk of people getting full of oil or dogs getting full of oil. I know it's a popular area with dogs, but that is why we need to fence it off, and I would ask people to please not go near the site for now.
And a big effort for the port as well. Can you tell us a little bit about the scale of the operation on your side briefly?
Well, we act as a focal point in liaison with the Department for the Environment in arranging contractors, setting the daily tasks, and then liaising with the insurance for the vessel, which will ultimately pay. So we're involved on the day-to-day operations, the logistical support, as well as forward planning, and then liaison from the legal side in terms of making sure that the polluter pays. And you rightly mentioned the cash bond that we've insisted before the vessel could depart. That is the guarantee that we have to ensure that the polluter will pay for everything to do with the cleanup.
And one thing that's important is prevention. This weekend we've heard after a report of a minor oil spill by the North Mole that was said to have had zero impact on the environment. The environmental safety group had said zero impact means zero oil. So it's calling for bigger fines, more in-person monitoring by the port and bunkering inspectors, and for those responsible for oil spills to be named and shamed. What are your thoughts? Does more need to be done in terms of prevention?
No, actually no. Look, there's always more that can be done, but people don't understand, people who are not in the industry don't understand the amount of supervision and enforcement that we have. So naming and shaming a company has very little benefit when it's a local operator who has been subjected to enforcement action from the Port Authority, who have responded admirably to a chain of events which led to a very minor mishap on board one of their bunker barges. Again, their response, the measures that we insist that they have ready, and the training and the drills that we enforce on them all paid off. So no, I don't think that the fact that we've had this instance so soon after the gas Venus is indicative of lax standards, lax supervision in any way.
And very, very briefly, what comes next?
So now we will continue to monitor the site, as I say, daily for the next few weeks. Once we finished cleaning all the off-site material that we took, all the boulders that we removed, we will carefully start to place boulders back in certain key areas, reinforce the areas, and then continuous monitoring and studying of recolonization and recovery.
And I think the key is from the heavy activity, today is a day that we call that off. We have a number of containment booms, sorbent booms now in the area. They will be removed tomorrow morning, and as from that point, to avoid any damage to them by southwesterly. So at that point it becomes very much a watching brief, and that's where very much we go into the hands of the environment to follow up.